Welcome back to Project 613. Today we are going to learn all about Jewish burial and the great respect and honor that the Torah affords to the deceased body of a Jew. And it's for this reason that in Jewish law, we have so many customs and traditions and rituals about how to prepare the body for burial and how to behave during the burial and following the burial. All of these point to the great respect and honor that's given to the body of the deceased. And one of the reasons for this is because we know that every person is created in the divine image. And that is really a reference to the soul. The soul of man is what's created in the divine image. But the body housed the soul. The body was the vehicle through with which the soul operated. And therefore, the body itself became sanctified by housing the soul in it. And therefore, even after the soul departs, the body has to be treated with such respect and such dignity as it was the house and the vehicle through with which the soul, which is the divine image, which is created in the divine image, operated and lived for so many years. Now, the most fascinating point of all is that this mitzvah that we have, the source of the mitzvah of burying the dead, actually comes in the Torah in the context of the discussion of capital punishment, which we are learning about today. And we have 5 specific mitzvot in this regard that we will mention today, one of them being the idea of burying the dead. So the first 2 that we have are the remaining list of the forms of execution that the Torah includes in its list of capital punishment. In addition to those that we learned yesterday, the remaining 2 are either execution by beheading or execution by strangulation. Each of these 2 are considered a mitzvah on their own, and the specific mitzvah would be that in the event that the Bet Din needs to deliver such an execution, it needs to be done in the exact way that the Torah instructs, with the exact details and so on. The third mitzvah that we learned today is that certain criminals who are executed by the Bet Din, their corpse needs to be hung in public for a short amount of time so people should be able to see. And from here we come to the mitzvah of burial, where the Torah tells us within this context, we're talking about a criminal, and one of the worst types of criminals, someone who actually received capital punishment. Nevertheless, the Torah tells us make sure that he is buried on the very day that he was executed. Ki kavor tikberenu bayomahu. He needs to be buried on that very day. And from here we learn that this doesn't only apply to one who was executed by the Bet Din, but this law also applies to every single Jew, that it is a mitzvah to bury them immediately on the very day that they pass away. This is considered a great respect for the dead body, that it should not be left for a long period of time. Rather, it should be buried immediately, as soon as possible. The only time that we would delay the burial is if by doing so, it would bring greater respect to the deceased. Let's say to allow other people to come to the funeral, to allow for more people to attend, or to allow for close family members to attend. And this is not a way of respecting the family members as much as it is a way of respecting the deceased by allowing more people to give honor to the deceased by being present at the funeral. And within this mitzvah, we also have the concept of something known as meis mitzvah, which literally means if a person passes away and doesn't have any family, or doesn't have anyone else to attend to them, it is a mitzvah upon every single Jew to get involved and to do everything that they can to make sure that this individual could in fact receive a burial immediately or as soon as is possible. And finally, the 5th mitzvah that we learned today is the parallel negative prohibition that we have for this individual who we are told that he needs to be buried immediately on the day. And in the context of the one who was executed by the Bet Din and his corpse was hung in public, and we had a mitzvah to hang his body in public, we now have a parallel prohibition where the Torah tells us, do not leave his body hanging overnight. Meaning, even though it's a mitzvah to hang the corpse, nevertheless, because it's also a mitzvah to bury him on the day, what the Bet Din would do is they would hang him and immediately take him down and bury him on that day in order not to be violating the prohibition we learn now of not allowing his body to remain hanging overnight. That is how we see how much the Torah emphasizes the respect and dignity that is afforded to every single human being, even the worst of criminals, and certainly to someone who isn't a criminal, how much respect and dignity we give to the person, not only when they're alive, but even after they pass away. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.